some data in the table. It's twice differentiable function. F and G are defined for all real numbers. We've got values of F, F prime, and G at various stages. And it asks, do the data in the table support that F of T is equal to 22 at time T with between 3 and 7? Give a reason for your answer. And first thing we do is we just write this out, right? And the first question I ask myself is it saying anything about a maximum or a minimum? And the answer is no, okay? Probably I'm going to test you on extreme value theorem in another way, right? Extreme value theorem, we're going to be doing, you'll see the graph, right? I'm going to ask relative maxes, relative mins. That's more where the extreme value theorem comes in. Even though it could come in this context, it's more likely to come in that one, okay? So then I ask myself, does what I have, actually, before I even do that, what's the answer? Is the answer yes or no on all of these? Good. We watched the lesson because this one, when I redid this one, I did like the second version of it, it was all on video, right? And we haven't really touched it since. It is always a yes here, okay? So always a yes, okay? And you got to know how to do these ones, right? Because these are not photomathable, okay? All right, so due to the, and now I need to figure out which theorem I have, all right? So I really need to look and see if I match or if I don't match, right? So it's asking me about F of T. And we know that for IVT and roles, that would mean that I would need to have something above F of T, right? They have to mismatch whether it's derivative and integral or derivative and original, okay? And so I know that these two, because I have to go from, I have F of T and they give me F of T, it can't be MVT and it can't be rules. It has to be intermediate value theorem, okay? Which technically we studied a long time ago. All right, but we brought it back to kind of compare to MVT. So yes, due to the intermediate value theorem, and what I typed in was IVT, okay? And I know I've typed this in 2 different ways, and I'm sorry about that, and I only put in like one answer one way. So we have to name the function. So what's the name of this function right here? What's the name of the function? So since what? All I'm looking for is one letter. There we go. There's a little delay. Since F, okay? Now, I know it's confusing because later on I accidentally put in a G of T, okay? So I will accept both F or F of T, okay? And I will go back and double check the auto grade, whichever way I end up typing it in and make sure that it does it right. Hopefully I should type it in both ways just in case, okay? It's probably more proper to say F of T, but I will accept the F and so will College Board, okay? We have to show that F of T is equal to 22 at time T with between 3 and 7. Give a reason for your answer. Okay, so we're looking at, we also have to say the word is what. So if we're talking about IVT, the hypothesis part of IVT says we have to have what kind of a function. So what kind of a function do I need here? Ah, yes, we need to say that it is continuous. Okay, and then you literally restate the interval. And I haven't even really tested it yet, right? And the way I restated it was with parentheses. If you happen to use inequalities, that's fine. It just wouldn't have auto-graded correctly, okay? So I used my interval notation. All right, now I need to actually test this, okay? So what I do is I go to my, and I don't have a function to plug into, so the only thing I can plug into is my table, okay? I was just telling the trim class that the algebra is the hard part of calculus, right? The calculus part is easy because when we can use a table, isn't it awesome? Because we don't have to actually do any calculating, right? We just have to read it off the table and understand how to read it off the table. So the work I would expect to see on your paper, because a lot of this you're going to end up typing in, okay, is you would want to say that you want to show me what F of 3 equals and F of 7 equals. So I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to find F of 3, which is 17, okay, and F of 7, which is 30. And I need you to analyze that 22 is between there. I don't do much more than that, okay, just showing, hey, it's between there. you could write this statement out, right? F of 3 equals 17 is less than 22 is less than F of 7 equals 30. That's probably the more mathematically correct way to write that, okay? So we've shown that, we've analyzed that. Now let's finish our statement. So, and F of 3 is less than 22 and F of 7 is greater than 22. And we showed that, right? We showed those things, okay? And then there is a, what comes after there is a? It's one letter. What's the letter that comes after there is a? Oh, and I probably should have put a different, I should have probably put a different thing in there. It's supposed to be there is a C, that's right. I would have also probably taken on this one, if it was the actual test, I would have maybe taken the letter T as well, okay? The C goes back to the theorem, okay? And then you restate the interval from 3 to 7, and then we have to restate what it's saying. Hey, this guy right here, right? F of T, it's kind of disguised. F of T is actually equal to, come on, is actually equal to 22. So F, oh boy, wrong thing. F of T equals 22. And again, on the practice, it's only going to grade one way. I will definitely go in and hand analyze anything on the test. Okay. All right. Are we looking good? Robert, how are you feeling? Because I know you're the one that asked. Are we feeling okay about that part?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Let's look at part 2. Okay, so here's part 2. And I have to kind of flip back and forth between this and my table. So it says, explain why there must be a value C. So it's saying, hey, this exists. It has to work. It's talking about F double prime. Okay, so the first thing I write out is IVT, MVT, roles, and EVT. And I know I'm not necessarily doing them in the same order I did in the video. Sorry. Okay. So the first thing I have to know is if this is for IVT, well, first of all, is it talking about maxes or mins? Yes or no? Is it talking about maxes or mins anywhere? Nope, no maxes and mins. So EVT is out, right? Because it's not talking about maxes and mins. All right, so if it's going to be IVT, they match. If it's going to be MVT, it's going to be 1 up, right? Or rules, it's going to be 1 up. So here I'm going to go look at my chart and see what information I have. Well, I notice in my chart, I don't have F double prime, right? No F double prime, so no IVT. Sorry, the scrolling is going to go crazy. No IVT, so it has to be either MVT or rules, okay? The way I'm going to make that determination is I'm going to, I have to try to show that something is equal to something if it's going to be roles, right? That I have slopes that are equal to each other. So let's see if I have that going on in there first, because the key to roles is it typically equals 0, okay? It's saying that, hey, at some point, I know that that slope's going to be equal to 0, so 2 values have to be equivalent. So if I have that, I know I've got roles. So I'm going to go back and examine my table for the first derivative and see if I have 2 y values that are the same. Okay, so I'm going to look at my first derivative. And I'm looking in here for 2 y values that are the same. Can anybody tell me what the 2 y values are that are the same? It's literally one number. So what y value is the same? Ah, -3, good. So all I have to state, I'm gonna do some erasing on the first part of the table there, is I have to state this in my formula, or in my whatchamacallit, in my work. Okay, so I know that f of, I think it was 3 equals -3, and f of 9 equals -3. So that would mean that Rolle's theorem applies. So now let's try to write that into the sentence. So it's due to Rolle's theorem. And I tried my best. I wanted to give you the sentence frame so it graded easy for you. I don't know if I want, so you guys tell me, would you rather just write the sentence on your own, or do you like the fill in the blanks? I want opinions from everybody. Okay, so will you appreciate, even though I don't give you much of the sentence, we like the fill in the blanks. Okay, I will leave it as fill in the blanks. Okay, all right. It's easier for me to grade all the words if it's fill in the blanks. Okay, but it's just kind of getting used to what goes in that fill in the blank, right? So that's, and I tried to copy the words that I used in the little videos on the side there, so that way it was hopefully the same. So since f prime is, okay, so what word comes after is in this? What do you guys think? What word implies continuous? Good. And the way that this grades is you technically have to spell it correctly, right? You do not have to spell it correctly on the actual test. I will go in and make sure it looks like the word differentiable. So if you spell it wrong, I'm going to go look at the intent. Okay. Differentiable. Okay. On, and then I got to list the interval. And again, it's still open. I typically use interval notation versus inequality notation on this part. Okay, so it's always going to auto grade to interval notation. All right, and then I have to make this statement about these two. F of 3 equals -3, and f of 9 equals -3. There is a C such that, and then you go back up here. Here's the conclusion I have to plug in. So f double prime of C equals 0. Done. Okay. No, it's not f prime, because it was asking us about f double prime right here. So it has to be f double prime. Okay. Oh, I know where you're talking about f prime. Thank you. Never mind. I figured it out. It's got to be f prime right here. You're right, Jocelyn. So we only go up one level. Thank you for catching that. Catching my typo or my righto. All right, I know we're getting close to our typical 20-minute time. I know that, but this is important for test. BC is probably going to pop in here to check in, so I'll probably tell them to go ahead and go. Let me finish at least these two here, and then we'll call it good. If you guys want to hang around and have more questions, we can probably do that today, because BC is going to kind of do their own thing. Okay. All right. If you have yet to open the review, that's highly recommended before you actually take the test tomorrow. Okay, because they should be very, very similar this time. So if you haven't opened the review to try it, you're putting your test grade in jeopardy right now. All right, is there a time t? Okay, so is there a time t between 3 and 6 at which g prime equals 3? Justify your answer. Okay, what's the answer? Is it yes or no? Sorry, don't look at my answer choices, right? Is it yes or no? 100% of the time, it's always going to be yes. Okay. Due to, now I have to decide. Okay, so I've got IVT, MVT, roles, and EVT. Okay. Is it saying anything about maxes or mins? Yes or no? Is it saying anything about maxes or mins? There's nothing about maxes or mins, so we know it can't be EVT. Okay. It's talking about G prime, which means for IVT, I need G prime. For MVT and roles, I need G. So let's go look at our table. Okay. Hello, Kobe. All right. So if I come up here and look, I only have G, which means I cannot use IVT. It has to be either MVT or roles. Okay. So I cannot use this one here. All right. So I'm going to go yes due to MV. Oh, sorry, I haven't determined that yet. Okay, I have to decide which one it's going to be, right? So I am going to look at, first of all, if I have anything that equals each other in the table. Okay, so let's go look and see if we have any equal values in the table. And oh, I do have some equal values, but let's see, are they on the right interval? Let's look and see if they're on the right interval. What was my interval again? My interval was 3 to 6. So they're not on the right interval. Do we see that? So since they're not on the right interval, I probably would not use roles. We're going to go for MVT. Okay. And I am going to go for MVT, which means I need to figure out the slope between the values. Okay. So I'm going to write that G prime of T equals. All right. I'm going to go back up there. I got to read the values out of my table. So we were looking between 3 and 6 in this table. I'm going to erase my scribbles. Okay, so I'm looking at 3 and 6, and these are the y values. So, hey, Nate, Thank you for popping in. You can go ahead and pop back out. You've officially checked in. Go work on missing work, please. Say hi in the chat and then go work on missing work. Okay. All right. So we're going to do 11 minus 2 over 6 minus 3. Bye, Nate. All right, so 11 minus 2 is 9 over 3, which is equal to 3, which is what they wanted me to show. They said, hey, show the slope is equal to 3. Also, the fact that it didn't equal 0 was another indicator it probably wasn't rolls. Okay, so we've proven it. We just now need to write it out. So at G, so this is the kicker here. I typed in on accident G of T instead of just G. So that might be throwing your answer off. Okay, I will accept both on the test. So since G of T is, and again, it has to be the word differentiable. Okay, on, and you have to use a closed interval for this one. It has to be differentiable on a closed. There must be a T in, and I used a closed here too, such that G prime of T equals, and then I typed in 11 minus 2, I showed the work, and this is a division sign, divided by 6 minus 3, and then it equals 3. And I'm sorry it's set up like that where it's kind of clumped weird, but you guys said you liked the fill in the blanks, so I'm going to keep it that way. Okay, it'll go across the whole screen though, hopefully, so because I won't have the double column thing going. Okay, all right, we doing okay on MVT? You want me to do the last one? All right, oh, Casey popped in, I missed her, and she popped back out. Okay, so let's take a look at, so if you want to stay, the last one's MVT too. So we've done it, we've kind of done one of each. Oh, hey, Casey, you've officially checked in. Say hi in the chat, and then you can go work on missing work, okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and, so if you want to stay, you can stay, okay? Bye. If you want to go, you can go, okay? I will do the next one, and then I'll do the joke, okay? And then we'll be good for the day if you want. And then but if you want to go work on the assignment, okay? The review assignment. Okay, here we go. One more. Okay, hello Madison, welcome. You guys you can just say hi in the chat, and then you can go. Okay. Bye, Brianna. All right. So, it's asking, must there be a time? Okay, so we're gonna go. So the answer to must there be a time is what? For those of us that are still paying attention, must there be a time is what? Checking, is anybody there listening? I know I've still got Stephanie and Daisy and Robert and Cynthia. Must there be a time? Is it yes or no? I'm not sure where there we go. Good. Yes. Okay, so yes, there must be a time. Okay. Due to, so this is where I've got to figure it out. So I've got IVT, MVT, rolls, and EVT. Okay. I see nothing about maxes and mins, so I know it's not EVT. Okay. If we're starting with prime, I need to be able to have F, and I need to be I need to have the answer for F prime here. They match, or we're one up, right? So unfortunately, I have both of those things in my chart. Okay. Since it's not equal to 0, I would probably eliminate rolls. Okay. IVT, I have to have places that surround -5. So let's go look and see if we have that going on. Okay, so surround, oh, yeah, let's go see if there's places that surround the -5 in the chart. And I don't remember what my interval was, and I didn't pull it up there. What was my interval? So I want to be specific to the interval on that. 7 to 10. Okay, so I'm going to check out 7 to 10. So 7 to 10, notice my values on, F prime, right? Because it has to match for IVT. There's no way negative, I think it was -5, right? -5 isn't between there, all right? So I know that it cannot be that one. right? Because it had to be -5, so it didn't work. So we're by default at MVT again, okay? And 90% of the time, you're probably going to check between IVT and MVT, okay? So, and this will be like, you'll see the table question on the AP test for your response. This will be like part B, okay? That's where it frequently comes up. So due to MVT, since F is, okay, so what comes after the word is? Tell me in the chat, what do you think comes after the word is? All right, good job, differentiable. Okay, and then we're on this closed interval, 7 to 10. There must be a T in, and then you want to list the name of the function, which in this case is going to be F. There must be, oh, a T in, sorry, it's not, you list the function, a T in the interval, such that F prime of T equals, okay, so here's where I have to actually write the slope out. So I need to go back up to my chart and figure out my Y values. And remember, for the slope, you're going to go up of a level. So we're going to look at this and this. So I'd probably go 15 minus 30 over 10 minus 7. So 15 minus 30 divided by 10 minus 7 equals, and I'd probably do my work off to the side. That's negative 15 over 3, which is going to be negative 5. So it's going to take the simplified answer there. Okay. A little bit more confident on the theorems now, I hope. I hope it helped. Yes, okay. And you guys are lucky. I teach these way better now than I used to a couple of years ago. I finally saw a great method for doing it, so I just borrowed that. Okay, I'm going to do the joke because I think we need a break, right? So let me do the joke. It's in a little different matter because Andy, oh, I got to share it the right way though. Andy wasn't getting Flipgrid to work. Stop recording.